None of us should be even getting close to the line of type 2 diabetes, though. That shows a tremendous amount of neglect of your health. It doesn't happen quickly. I'm not pointing the finger at anyone, but it really is a longer process than people like to believe. It's not like you wake up one day and you're type 2 diabetic. Like, it was a haul to get yourself there. And so it's going to be a bit of a haul. I say that only to share. It's going to be a bit of a haul to get yourself back. Okay. That's not going to happen overnight either. But as soon as you start implementing strategies to improve things, it will happen quite quickly. It's not about the baby weights. It's not about cardio. It's not about any of that. Like, all that's fine if you want to do that, but we actually have to build muscle. Muscle's your biggest site of glucose storage, your muscle and your liver. So you have got to build a bigger, better glucose sink. It acts like a metabolic sponge. It sops up all the muck and the mire as far as the insulin and the metabolic cofactors all start working much better when we have adequate muscle that is well-trained. We have the ability to eat carbohydrates more readily and process them correctly when we have good muscle, meaning we have better insulin sensitivity. Without muscle, your body really struggles to clear glucose efficiently and effectively, and it starts to deposit fatty deposits into other organ systems like your liver and your pancreas and places we don't want it, and into the visceral area, which is the area surrounding the organs under the muscle wall layer. So this is why muscle is absolutely non-negotiable. It normalizes your metabolism. It helps you age better. It helps you prevent frailty. It helps you prevent atrophy and sarcopenia, which helps you prevent falls. Because remember, falls and hip fractures in old age are the kiss of death. The mortality rates skyrocket if you have a hip fracture. And it's not a fun decline. You either decline slowly and you start to have cognitive issues and you have balance issues, but most people don't ever make it up to ambulation again. They never get back up and going. So their lives are ruined. Their quality of life is destroyed. That's to say, if they make it out of the hospital and don't die in the hospital of pneumonia. I cannot think of a worse way to go. So we don't want to break a hip. And this is why we eat our protein and we strength train. Then there's this domino effect that happens where you have muscle loss, fat gain, and inflammation, which begets more muscle loss, more fat gain, more inflammation. And then your muscles are ending up marbled in this process, just like your liver and your pancreas and other organ systems. And that marbling of the muscle starts to lead to insulin resistance in the muscle. This is why I say train the big muscle groups. The hardest, your glutes, so your legs and your butt, your glutes and your thighs and your quads and your hamstrings. The big muscle groups are going to give you more bang for your buck. And also you're going to look awesome because you're going to have a big old booty. And who doesn't want to have a nice, big, firm booty, right? We don't want flat, squishy pancake butts in middle age. We need a nice donkadonk. When I hear women talk about strength training and they have no butt whatsoever, yeah, some people just genetically don't have a butt and others do. But also, as we age, trust me, focus on the butt. Just work on the glutes, work on getting those glutes big and healthy. We want to have good adipose tissue surrounding them. This is really the recipe for longevity. This is how we're going to get through everything and we're going to make it through. When you start seeing women get apple-shaped and get spindly little legs and spindly little butt and spindly little arms, we have a problem. And that's how I'm built. That's just how my body wants to go. That is not the recipe for longevity and for good metabolic health as we age. And then there's this feed forward mess that I mentioned where the insulin resistance begets more insulin resistance. So insulin's anabolic. It helps us build. When we have insulin resistance, the cells don't even know how to work correctly. And so in the mess that's being made is a further mess that is potentiated. And then you start to get fat gain and you start to get fat deposits in places you don't want, like I mentioned, which drives us into inflammation, and we start to get systemic inflammation. And that systemic inflammation it's just wreaking havoc on your immune system. This is why we see a lot of women get more autoimmune in middle age. It's not just that, it's because their hormones drop out too. And then when your hormones drop out, you get more insulin resistant. It's just a big vicious cycle. And truly, again, the solution is found in the gym and in the kitchen. And mitigating your stress. Your stress will throw all of this under the bus. Best efforts thrown under the bus with chronic stress. But you can mitigate your stress by burning it out in the gym. You see, the answer is in the gym. Truly, the answer is on that deadlift bar. So this is my argument for why I say this is non-negotiable. And people think I'm kidding when I say it, and they think that I'm, overblowing it. But if you want to have, let's just put it this way. If you want to avoid type 2 diabetes, if you want to avoid obesity, if you want to avoid fracturing a hip, if you want to avoid dementia, if you want to avoid frailty, which makes you a sitting duck for all kinds of things that come your way, whether it be an upper respiratory virus or cancer, frailty is not the way to enter into any of those situations and expect good outcomes. So if you want all of those things to be avoided, then you must focus on building muscle and eating adequate protein to fuel the muscle that you're working so hard to build.